All right. I had a nice vacation. Let's see what I missed from the last week in wrestling. Son of a bitch. Since the Royal Rumble, the world of internet wrestling writing has been lit up with story after story after story. The world's greatest family-friendly promotion announced its return to action at National Pro Wrestling Day. JoJo's been sent back to Sarah Del Rey's dungeon until she's old enough to drive, while Summer Rae replaces her on the cast of Total Divas. The rumors regarding Sting's move to WWE have gotten hotter and hotter. MVP joined TNA on a handshake and a prayer. Matt Hardy and Rebby Sky got arrested for being Matt Hardy and Rebby Sky. Oh, and right, CM Punk quit the WWE because wrestling. A surprising number of internet wrestling community websites are speculating that this is an elaborate storyline in order to help boost WrestleMania buys, despite a mountain of evidence to the contrary, and every reason in the world to believe that even if he does come back, he legitimately walked out. We choose to believe that the voice of the voiceless and the longest reigning champion of the modern era took his ball and went home, potentially for good, after getting into a heated argument with WWE officials on the night of the Raw after the Royal Rumble, shortly before the show began. This led to furious rewrites and an extra-long Kofi match, the first sign that something had gone wrong. Is Punk in the right for walking out, or is he a drama king pissed about the spotlight? It's time to clone myself to find out in our first ever Point Counterpoint. Point! CM Punk is amazing. The man has brought so many eyes to the WWE. Everything they've given him, he has made his own. Look, CM Punk is constantly creating wildfire, and the WWE constantly blows it. Look how they've been treating him as a main event player. The summer of Punk ended when Kevin Nash texted himself. In his last reign, the longest reign in modern history, ended with Hollywood Rock taking the title in his third match after 7 years' absence, when Punk was basically having the best match of the card for 434 days straight. Counterpoint. Sure, he's pissed. I'd be pissed too. But he's also being completely unprofessional. You don't just up and leave a job because things aren't going your way. If the issue stems from him being unhappy, then request your release and don't leave everyone else you work with hanging high and dry. Heck, if I decided I wanted to stop looking at spreadsheets and instead wanted to start looking at PowerPoints, I would at least give my company the heads up instead of storming out right before one of the biggest department meetings of the year. Point! I've seen you at your job and you're not very good at it. CM Punk, however, is. He has paid his dues tenfold, right? He's tired, worn out, beat up, and consistently on the highest rated segments of the show. He deserves to be on the main event of at least one WrestleMania, but it doesn't look like they were ever going to give it to him, no matter how much he deserved it. Counterpoint. Deserved it according to, what, him? John Cena and The Rock produced two of the largest gates in American professional wrestling history in back-to-back years. If Punk was as popular as The Rock or Cena, he would have been in that match. And there's an entire roster of people who are beat up and worn out. It's part of the business. Should Alex Riley storm out of the company just because he's worn out and tired of carrying the Miz's bags everywhere? It doesn't mean he gets to put the company in that kind of compromising position. What Punk did was inappropriate and selfish. Batista and Orton in the main event of WrestleMania, and I'm not. Well, Punk needs to climb the mountain of his ego and get over himself. Point. This isn't just about Punk. Daniel Bryan is the most popular star in the WWE, but he's being set aside so a man who spent the last couple of years failing to be interesting can face a man who spent the last couple of years being a non-factor in the WWE. WrestleMania 30 is coming up, and they are risking a stadium full of people booing because Vince McMahon doesn't want his Disneyland-like grasp on the medium challenged by change. Counterpoint. Don't like the product? Then watch something else. It's a television show, but it's the only television show where everyone acts like a baby when it doesn't go their way. Okay, don't be that guy. The guy that gets angry that Ted and Robin will never get together, even though they are perfect for each other, so they stop watching How I Met Your Mother? Okay, WWE is a business. It's a business that makes its money off of merchandise, ad sales, and pay-per-view buys. You want to have your voices heard during something other than self-serving chants? Then I don't know, maybe try buying the pay-per-views that guys like Daniel Bryan and CM Punk headline. It's not the WWE's fault that kids whose families don't know how to stream illegally off the internet are the ones who actually make the company money. Point. But why should I pay for the same storylines I watched and paid for a decade ago? Just because you can make more money catering to the lowest common denominator doesn't mean you should. What good is making money for a business if it drains you of your artistic integrity and makes your most loyal customers unhappy? Counterpoint. Making money allows the lights to stay on and the pyro to go off. This is the business, you pencil-neck bearded geek, not a hippie commune. Point. If your story sucks, no one will watch. You're worse than the guy who greenlit John Carter from Mars. Counterpoint. You take that back. Point. I hate you. Counterpoint. That means you hate yourself. Well, that went nowhere. So it begs the question, when it comes to WWE, who knows best? Well, not this week's
World Heavyweight Championship douche canoe,
which will be broken up into tiny little pieces and given out to the internet wrestling community. Look, it's bad enough they got pissed off when Daniel Bryan didn't win the thing he was never advertised to be a part of anyway. You want to get up in arms about the Royal Rumble? Xavier Woods was advertised and he never appeared. Yet everyone's angry that they only got to see Bryan once. Called it. But to get a public petition to the White House demanding that the WWE put Daniel Bryan in the main event at WrestleMania 30, even though we have 8 more weeks of storyline development until that set event makes the nearly 100,000 of you that signed it morons. You wouldn't do this with any other type of televised entertainment. What makes you think you can do it here? Where's the petition to bring Wash back to life? Let's have J.K. Rowling rewrite the books so that Hermione does end up with Harry. Don't like the Red Wedding? Consider it retcon because it made you feel sad. Luckily, Barack smelt what you were cooking and it stank to high holy heaven. They have since taken the petition down, but the thought remains the same. Where does it stop? This isn't like some bully took your lunch money so you ran to the teacher. You tried to involve the government in professional wrestling. Look, watch what you enjoy, don't watch what you don't, and support your favorite wrestlers without looking like insane, crazy fans perpetuating the stereotype of dumb yokel that so many of us are trying to break, you World Heavyweight Championship douche canoes. That's off our chest and ends our show. So what do you think? Is Punk being the voice of the voiceless or doing it all wrong? Start the conversation in the comments below. Also, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out the Facebook pages of both us and JuiceMakesSugar.com, the revolutionary force in smart market entertainment. This week is Pillman Week, so check out Nick, Dave, and Andy as they fire off the gun of knowledge on the loose cannon without fading to black first. Until next time, my name is Noah Waterman. Thank you for watching. Please, don't try this at home.
Drivers in the vicinity of Western and Oakey are reporting seeing UFOs. Our field reporter, Sexy Lexi, is on location outside of Cheetahs. What's happening, Sexy?
You can see scattered pennies are whipping around Cheetahs. Inside, dancers are partially covered. This could only happen at Cheetahs. Back to you.
For all of our brave military personnel, you can take a free shuttle to and from Champs Bar. Simply call for times, and there's no cover.